$8,900 account. Our next slide over here will be able to show us about the food service fund. And as we have, the food service fund has received a total of $500,000 in revenue, with the majority of the federal breakfast and lunch programs making up that $500,000. Our next area that we have here was covering more food service items, and as we have here, $599,000 have been expended from Function 35 for food services at this current point in this school year. So in our INS funds that we have over here for debt service, again, the fund, a total of $1.3 million of local revenue has been received in our INS funds. Some more INS funds in terms of debt service, and on this particular slide you have only $1,000 has been expended for debt service currently at this point in the school year. As you see here, we do have some breakdowns here and some spreadsheets that we have over here. This is the schedule of the general fund certificates of deposit as of November 30th of 2025. The first 4 CDs listed matured and renewed during the month, so there were 2 lines for each CD showing the different interest rates, dates, and interest earned. The total value per CD is listed in the last column, and the total value at the end of the month for all CDs was $30,603,610.03. Wow, I'm thankful for my math teacher. So, all right. Next slide shows over here that this is the schedule of our INS certificates of deposit as of November 30th of this year. Total value at the end of the month for all of our CDs was $1,332,418.00. And our last item that we have over here was for the Lone Star investment pool. Interest earned for November was $3,915.33 with a year-to-date total investment of $1,155,833.18. As I mentioned, I am filling in for Ms. Fernandez here this evening. I will try my very best if you have any questions on any of the information that y'all have heard here this evening. But if there is a question that I'm not able to answer, I will be more than happy to get with Ms. Fernandez and I can get you an answer as soon as possible.
Awesome. Mr. Martinez would love any questions.
Full transparency, I am not the finance person. So.
I don't see any questions. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Alrighty, we'll be moving on to item 6F, Superintendent Report by Superintendent Dr. Jody Sport.
Good evening, board. Just a quick couple of updates showing you what we've done in the community. I got to be a judge for the Christmas parade, my first Christmas parade here. It was great. It was nice to have a cool, brisk evening, and it was a lot of fun. We also had the groundbreaking for the Rio Regional Hospital. And it was really neat to see how that hospital is going to grow and serve our community. They're going to have, full service imaging, women's wing. It's really exciting to see how that is growing. Teaching and learning has been filled with a lot of tests. So our high school had retesting for the students who need to pass their end of course tests, December 2nd through the 5th. The intermediate and the junior high and high school finished up semester exams, and our TFE campus is going to be doing the middle of year tests, and they'll be finishing up some of those in the spring as well in January. Their schedule is just a tad different from the older kiddos. We've had teacher incentive allotment meetings with our principals and with our teachers, and we will be moving full steam ahead on the application for TIA, which we'll be due in April. So when we come back, we'll be getting our committee together to determine the measures that we'll use, which groups of teachers will be in the first wave. Our goal is to see if we can't get everybody in that first wave, so it's going to be a group effort, a lot of teacher input on that as well. The second semester, as Poppy mentioned, and also Ms. De Leon, We're going to start off with 2 days of staff development, some time to review all of the exams that they just took and use that information to help guide our teaching and learning for this next semester. Also, get our subs back on board, new folks trained, revisit some trainings. We've done a lot of needs assessment before we apply to this, so it's going to be what did we need, and now we've got a couple of days to get ready for the kids to come back. We do have a huge shout out, and I know that we'll be seeing her at one of our board meetings as a student month coming up, but a young lady, who got her associate's degree before she's getting her high school diploma. So that's pretty incredible. Yay. So, we went from having 0 kids getting an associate's to now they're getting an associate's before they even graduate. So the future is very bright. So, when everybody's like, why would we have early college, high school here? Well, here you go. And this child did it without early college, high school. So just imagine when we can open that up for everybody. So, that'll be one of the things as we go into budget season here in the spring, we'll be looking at as we expand early college, high school, and the different supports that we're providing the students so that we have more kiddos walking the stage with 2 diplomas. It's pretty exciting. Other things that we've had going on is, we said goodbye to some of our fall sports that are hitting our winter sports. So we hosted a basketball tournament here at the high school for our boys and girls, and several neighboring schools. On Monday night, they had a winter sports banquet at the high school. We've had district honors that you may have seen posted out on social media for all of the students who earned either for their athletic ability or their academics as well. Our Maverick Band, they're having their concert tonight at the junior high. High school will be tomorrow night. So if you want to finish off the 2025 part of the school year in style, head on over to the Performing Arts Center for that concert. We also had quite a few kids. You can see the picture up there of our kids who went to all-region band, and those kiddos will be recognized once they finish their tryouts coming up here right when we get back. We also had one-act play contest, the junior high. When was that, Ms. Talamantes? Last Friday. So we've had that. And then we had intermediate students from 2nd grade all the way up to the junior high working on their academic UIL, and you saw them get recognized tonight. And of course, I know tomorrow at TFE, we didn't have it on here, but we do have student performances going on all day. I got to see some practices today, and they're pretty cute. Also, our Education Foundation has received its IRS 501c3 number, so we are good to go to start accepting donations from some of our business partners. And we're very proud to announce that the president of the Pearsall Education Foundation right now, it's in steering committee, and he's moving us forward, is John Hewson, who is the CEO of the Freer Regional Hospital. So we're excited to have those partners on board. And next, just want to give you an update on enrollment and attendance. You can see how we were in October to November when we had our snapshot right before at the end of October, then December. Everybody's holding pretty steady, and that's against last year, last day of school. So you can see, that the high school is at 550. We've got the junior high. Last year was at 423, and you see they're at 431 right now. So that's good. Attendance, you can see everybody's really working very hard on attendance. Thank you all. I know this was an exciting month, and I don't know that I've ever seen a campus hit 98.6%, but my goodness, congratulations to junior high, 98.6%. That's pretty incredible, and they hit that this week on the 11th, so I want to give them a big shout out for that. And whatever you're putting in your water there, we're gonna spread it around. But still, you see everybody is up in the 90s, and that's huge. So, and to have seen it increase in the third 6 weeks is huge, because this was a short 6 weeks, and we have the 2 big holidays, lots of distractions going on. So thank you everybody for keeping that focus and keeping that push. Amen. Yes.
Sending your kids to school
Yes.
on a regular basis.
Amen.
I'm so glad we have a 5-day week again.
I think it's helped to have some regularity with that, right? We can kind of count on that. I hope so. We we do believe that that's a huge piece of some of the successes that we've seen, or that we've got the 5 days now. They were right behind them. I was like, oh my gosh, look how close the intermediate got, and and then the high school and TFE are right there too. So very, very, very thankful for all of the effort gone in by everybody, parents and kids and staff. So close. They were so close.
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Sport? Awesome, thank you, man. We'll be moving on to consent agenda, item 7. Dr. Sport?
The only thing that we have in consent this evening are the board minutes from the November 19th board meeting that were sent to you all. If you have any questions or corrections for those, we will accept those at this time.
Does anyone have any corrections that need to be made to these minutes? If not, can I get a motion on this item? I have a motion made by Marco Reyes. Do I have a second? I have a second by Dora Mata Rodriguez. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Move on to action items. Item 8A, consider approval of policy changes, DC local, CH local, CFB local.
Good evening. So we had spoken before about DC local, and DC local we're asking for an amendment so that the superintendent can employ teachers, librarians, and school counselors throughout the year, bringing that report to the school board each month, but not waiting for that permission until the board meeting. Currently, that is an authority that the superintendent does have during the summer months. But we found that when it comes to hiring, that if the quicker we can make some of those decisions without waiting, the easier it is for us to hire candidates. So that was DC local. The next two are items that the auditor consultant, Mr. Hernandez, had brought to our attention, and there are a couple of things that happened in the legal update that we approved last month. And when you look at CFB local, that is the capitalization threshold, and the state upped it from 5,000 to 10,000. So we're asking to keep that in line with what the state has done. Again, just moving it from 5 to 10. And then
what does that entail when you talk about capitalization?
I need Lisa here to explain some of this, but that just has to do with how when we're talking about our capital assets and the things that are taxed as capital assets. And again, when they talk about if we're classifying something, it's when we go to look at purchasing something, if it's at 5,000, it's considered in that area. And now the state has upped it to 10. And so we're just asking to be in line with the state.
Okay.
And then the next one is CH local. And again, these are board opportunities to put whatever amounts you want on this. The legal went from a $50,000 max to a $100,000 max before board approval for any purchases. So the auditor said you might want to consider doing the same to your local and putting it up in proportion to the legal. So legal used to be 50 and local was 25. Now legal has gone to 100,000, and then local, you all can say you want to keep it at 25 or you can go up. And part of that has just been because of the price increases with things. There's so many things that then come to that. And so if it needs to come to the board, then that adds on almost an extra month sometimes of when we're going to bring things to purchase. It's still not a it's not a deal breaker kind of thing. It's just one of those that they recommended that we bring to you all for discussion.
Does anyone have anything they would like to discuss on this item?
I would like to just, I'm okay with a $10,000 capitalization. I would like to keep the local at 25,000 until we see maybe a year from now. Currently, we're still not purchasing many items. Most of those items we plan for. And so those items like the school buses or the Suburbans or things like that, which are big items that we do, I think we need to keep it at 25. That's my opinion, my point. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. If we kept that at 25, there would be no change to that policy, that specific policy.
Correct.
Does anyone else have any comments, recommendations?
I know Lisa's not here to answer this question, but on this, Dr. Ford knows, how often do we actually utilize the $25,000? You know, I'm just like Marco. I feel that we should just keep it at 25 for now and see how it goes. You know, moving forward with it. That's just as he said. It's just my thought as well.
So I can tell you one example, and Mr. Garza might want to jump in on this. One of the things that we're looking at doing is we put in the budget to purchase laptops for the students in the early college high school. And then in talking with Ms. Bass, she said perhaps there are some of the dual credit kids who might need to have a laptop as opposed to a Chromebook. So we were prepared to come in and it's like, okay, well, that will then make a big change. So now if we're going to add a few kids to that, now I can't buy them laptops now until we've got to go back. And so it'll be another month before we can do it because it'll go just over the 25 for that. So oftentimes now things are going just over the 25. Again, it's not a deal breaker. It just makes it a little bit longer. And most of these items that are going to be this big are things that we have line itemed in a budget. So it's very rarely, and if it is something that's an emergency, so let's knock on wood, but sometimes we'll have a piece of, you know, like air conditioner will go out or, you know, a water heater will go out that we cannot wait on, then we can have an emergency meeting and come in and request to have an approval for something that's a big ticket item. But anything extra huge, it's definitely going to come to any school buses, anything like that. These are just items that would be, you know, under 50,000. But again, you can say 25. You can put it lower if you want to put it lower. You can put it at 30. You can put it whatever you want. Just that the state upped it from 50 to 100,000 because of the increase in prices of the things people are having to buy now.
I was at the meetings at South Padre. We went to the training for the legal updates, and these items were discussed, but I also talked to a lot of the board members that were there, and they were actually surprised that we were at 25,000 because most of those districts, and I'm talking some pretty big districts, they were at 10,000. So just to let everybody, you know, when I said 25,000, everybody was like, "You're what?" So again, the number of items that we have, again, it's a board decision. That's just something that to bring from that meeting that I attended.
If I may, I mean, even just a little bit more, like, in technology, I hit 26,000, 27,000, it's like it delays a whole month. I mean, I'm not saying if y'all don't want to, you know, maybe consider just going up a little bit more just from that to avoid those delays, you know what I mean? I understand like your vehicle's average price now is probably about 45 or 50 on a van, but just some of those purchases are just barely exceeding the threshold. It's like 25,100, and Lisa's like, gotta go to the board, like, okay, so then we delay that month. The great example today was about those laptops for the college kids. We couldn't, I was right over the limit, right? I mean, we budgeted, we put it in capital investment right in 11, but we just couldn't proceed till we come back from the break or whatever. And that just has to do with what's in stock, quantities and stuff like that. So that's why I didn't bring it before this meeting.
Well, you would still have to get it approved.
And we've got the money. You've budgeted the money. You know where it's going to spend. It's just that final approval. Is this really where you want to spend that kind of money? And I also understand that, you know, in light of some of the financial troubles that we've seen other folks get in, where you just, okay, well, we'll just spend, you'll just spend, and you know that is one of your biggest charges as a board member is to maintain that oversight. So for us, it would just be a matter of, okay, it's going to delay it a month, but that's not a deal breaker at all.
then we need to plan accordingly.
Mhm.
You know, if it means reducing your laptop by 5 or 10, and or making changes that are like that, you know, those are decisions that you have to make. That's just something that we're responsible for, and I think that we need to watch that. We don't want to be, not that we're going to be getting into any of those financial problems, we're doing very well. But I think that, again, at the size of our district, and then we properly plan, again, if we look at the last couple of board meetings that we've had, the last 3 or 4 months, we've not approved anything above 25,000. So again, if we properly plan and we coordinate, then we can do our functions, okay? And again, it's a board decision, when the vote comes up, you know, whatever the majority wants.
I'm the same way, you know, I mean, it's not like we always get something that we have to approve, you know, but I did do a little research on the surrounding schools, probably like 15 of them, and like 10 of them are at $25,000, and this is you know, nobody's updated it this year at all, but there's like 10 of them at 25,000, we got one at 15,000, and there's about 10 of them in the surrounding area, you know, and I'm talking about within the 3A, 4A, 3A, 2A school districts in our general area that are 50,000 as well. So, you know, so it's just, and like I said, none of them have updated theirs this year except for Bandera, which is at 25. And they just upped it up to 25, so. But, you know, it's up to y'all, you know, the actual board. I just wanted to share that tidbit to the board, you know, that. And of course, you know, with the next item, it's going to be, you know, I mean, we are in good financial standing, as Mr. A has been mentioning as well, you know, so was first, you know, so we definitely don't want to be as one of our neighboring districts, you know, that they're in that mess as well, so.
Okay. Anyone else have any other comments on it?
No, I was just gonna say, I mean, and again, like the need for us to consider going up hasn't really been that urgent to say, you know, we've had this. And so, I mean, I think that from what I gather in the last 6 months that I've been here, the 25,000 seems to meet the need currently.
So if there's no further discussion, someone can make a motion and we can vote on it appropriately. I kind of see some of the board members wanting to keep it the same. So if anybody makes a motion that wants to keep it the same, it would just be updating the policies as presented, minus
Or
local. And if someone's making a motion that would like to put it to 50 or another number, they can state that as well in the motion.
Okay, so let's see if we get this right the first time. So I move that the board trustees approve the update on DC local to $10,000.
No, that's totally different,
just DC.
just DC.
Oh, okay.
Just the approval for superintendent.
Okay, I'm confused.
So I guess,
Okay, let me rescind that. She's
what's the consensus, basically,
Yeah, so are we doing the,
The DC local, so D has to do with the hiring piece. And then the CFB has to do with the capital assets from 5 to 10. CH, if you want to leave that as is, then you can just approve the changes to DC local and CFB local. And then CH does not get changed at all. No, if you want to leave CH as it is, there's no change to CH. You can just approve DC and CFB.
You could just say, make a motion to approve DC local and CFB local as presented, if you want to make no changes to CH local.
Okay, so I make a motion that the Board of Trustees approve DC local and CFB local as presented.
I have a motion made by Doramato Rodriguez. Do I have a second? I have a second by Diana Hughes. All in favor? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
No change on CH.
Yes.
CH.
Do I say this?
Yes, do that first. Yes, do that, and then I'll read it, and you do that.
We'll be moving on to the next item. The time is now 8:24, and we will be moving into our first public hearing. The board will now hear public comment on the first report, and we have Mr. Adam Martinez presenting the first report.
It is my pleasure to be here this evening in place of Ms. Lisa Fernandez. I will be doing the first public hearing. And here we go. So the Financial Integrity Rating Systems of Texas was developed by the Texas Education Agency in 1999, and it was designed to ensure financial accountability and transparency across Texas public schools by evaluating district financial management, solvency, and compliance with state and federal standards through a rating scale. And the rating scale is rated as A, B, C, and F. A is a superior achievement, B is above standard, C is meet standard, and F is substandard. I am happy to report that Pearsall ISD, for the latest first accountability ratings, has been given a rating of superior achievement. So we have earned an A, indicating superior achievement for the 24-25 fiscal year, which is the highest possible rating under the first system. So out of 100 points, Pearsall ISD received 100 points. So what does it mean for Pearsall ISD? Demonstrates that excellent financial management and accountability exists in Pearsall ISD, reflects strong fund balance, liquidity, and debt management practices, confirms accurate and transparent financial reporting, and it indicates sound fiscal planning and compliance with all state requirements. As you can tell here by this next slide, we do have a breakdown of how all of the districts across the whole state. So roughly 81% of all of the districts in the state of Texas did achieve a superior rating achievement. And again, the remainder, about 10% were at a B, 6% were at a C, and 2% were substandard across the districts in the state of Texas. Bear with me here as we go through this next portion. There are 21 indicators, so I'm going to do my very best to go through these very briefly and give you the actual result of how Pearsall ISD was able to perform on these. So in indicator for test 1, this indicator ensures that the district meets deadlines for submitting our audited financial data, and that was a yes. For indicator number 2, this indicator assesses the accuracy and reliability of the district's financial reporting. A clean audit indicates that the district's financial records are in good order and comply with accounting standards, and we add a score of yes as well. For indicator 3, this indicator checks the financial solvency of the district, which was again confirmed as a yes. And indicator 4, this indicator checks if the district made required payments on time to various state and federal entities responsible for employee benefits, taxes, and other payroll-related obligations, and we did meet the ceiling for this particular indicator. For indicator 5, this indicator assesses the overall financial health of the district. A positive net position greater than 0 indicates that the district can meet or obligations with the resources we currently hold, and we had a ceiling passed for that indicator. For indicator 6, this indicator measures whether this district is increasing or depleting our available financial resources either assigned or unassigned fund balances over time, and we did have, again, the ceiling pass for that indicator. For indicator 7, this indicator assesses whether the district had a sufficient number of days of cash on hand to cover operating expenses, and we scored a 10 out of 10 on that particular indicator. And indicator 8 assesses if the district's financial health is stable enough to manage our short-term debts, and we had a perfect 10 out of 10 rating as well. For indicator number 9, the indicator assesses the district's fiscal responsibility and ability to sustain, manage our resources, and avoiding a deficit. We had a perfect 10 out of 10 score on that as well. For indicator number 10, the indicator is not being scored for all districts this year, so again, we would achieve a full 10 out of 10 possible points. The indicator 11 assesses whether the district's financial structure is stable enough to handle our long-term obligations without jeopardizing our financial position. We scored a 10 out of 10. For indicator 12, which assesses whether the district has a substantial balance between our debt and our tax base, we had a 10 out of 10 perfect score. And for indicator 13, which assesses the district's fiscal responsibility and prioritization of resources, the threshold is designed to keep administrative costs reasonable so that more funds can be allocated to instruction and student services. Our score increased from an 8 prior year to a 10 this year. For indicator 14, which assesses that staffing levels remain efficient and proportionable for student enrollment, we had a perfect 10 out of 10 score here. Indicator 15, which measures whether districts can accurately project the students that they will be funded on, we had a 5 out of 5 rating at this indicator for 15. For indicator 16, which measures the district's ability to ensure consistent and accurate reporting of financial data across different sources of data, which is PEMS and the district's AFR, we had the ceiling passed for that particular indicator. For indicator 17, which assesses whether the district had any material weaknesses in internal controls over financial reporting and compliance for local, state, and federal funds, we again had the ceiling passed for that indicator. For indicator 18, which assesses the district's compliance with financial regulations related to grants, contracts, and laws related to local, state, and federal funds, again, another perfect 10 out of 10 score. Last set. For indicator 19, the indicator evaluates whether the district has adhered to these regulations by timely and accurately posting the required materials to ensure public access and accountability, a perfect 5 out of 5 rating on indicator 19. For indicator 20, which reflects the district's proactive in financial planning and responsiveness to funding changes, allowing sufficient time to access the financial landscape, plan accordingly, and make informed decisions about the budget, we again had the ceiling pass for indicator 20. And our last indicator, indicator 21, which assesses whether the district was allowed to spread out the repayment over more than one fiscal year to ease financial strain. The indicator helps evaluate the financial management and stability of the district. And again, we had the ceiling pass for this particular indicator. This concludes all of the indicators that Pearsall ISD was rated on here for the first process. If you have any questions or have any thing that I might be able to answer for you here this evening, I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Good. Yeah, I don't have questions, but if you could relay the message to Lisa and her team, great job. 100
Absolutely.
is awesome, and I haven't seen 100 in a while, so.
Absolutely. Something to be very proud of as a district, as a board community, something to be very proud of for our district.
Yes, sir. Does anyone else have any other questions?
She runs a tight ship, so like Daniel said, I'm over by $5. Nope, send it back. And I know some of our coaches and the principals in the back, they're like, but can't we do that? I'm like, nope, you can't. Sorry, you got to go get a PO. I know you're just wanting to go to the Bill Millers, but you know, it's just, we got to follow those rules. So I appreciate that she does keep us honest, and it is y'all's oversight as well, because you look at the financials every month, and you make sure that you're informed as well. So thank you for your role in this. But it is a huge big thing, and we will be putting out some more publicity on our first 100 come January. So you'll see a lot more of that put out there. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Well, perfect. And thank you for doing your best to do all of our pizzas.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for answering all our questions.
Happy to do so. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you, sir. The time is now 8:32, and we will conclude the first public hearing and return to the regular piece of the meeting. And And we'll move on to item 9, closed meeting. The board will now adjourn into a closed meeting in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.074 to consider the following: formative superintendent evaluation and human resource report. And 551.074 is the deliberation regarding matters related to employment, appointments, resignations, terminations, retirements, and reassignments. The time is now 8:33 p.m. and we will now adjourn into closed session.